Okay, welcome back to the channel. We got a 2015 Mercedes-Benz CLS 63 that's having an issue with the intermediate shaft. The intermediate shaft connects to the CV axle. Let me see if I can get a picture of this for you. And we have up and down movement with our CV axle. I'm gonna show you better when we take it apart. This will be a video on how we're gonna disassemble and get this vehicle together. We're gonna take our ball joints out, our control arm, this nut here, and we're also gonna do the outer tie rod so we can swing this to the side. Prior to that, we'll take out the center bolt. All right, so just as promised, we have our lower control arm separated from our steering knuckle. We have our outer tie rod separated from our steering knuckle. And what that allows us to do is actually have plenty of room to push your steering knuckle to the side. You'll get plenty of flex. Inside here is where your intermediate shaft go. And the problem is that it's kind of hard for you to see. If you don't change this bearing, you will actually damage the oil pan where the bearing sits. I'm gonna show you on the workbench what I mean. This oil pan is actually okay. It got some slight scoring, but it's gonna be fine. Let me show you on the workbench how this goes together, give you a better idea. Okay, let me show you guys how this thing is mounted up in the vehicle. This here is your intermediate shaft. This part of the shaft goes through the oil pan and your CV axle actually slides onto your intermediate shaft. Now here's the problem that this thing has. This bearing right here. This bearing mounts, we already got it removed for the sake of this video. This bearing mounts on your intermediate shaft. The problem with this bearing is that over time, you should listen to this. This bearing goes bad. Once this bearing is pressed on to the intermediate shaft, this intermediate shaft in this bearing is held on by a C-clip right here, a circlip. So you just have to remove the clip, then you can slide your CV axle off and then take your intermediate shaft out. We're gonna show you on the install. Here's the issue with this bearing. It's a very common problem. If you don't get this replaced sooner than later, this bearing will get looseness. It'll start moving up and down inside the oil pan and you will damage the oil pan. So do not waste time getting this replaced. So we're gonna get this bearing off. We're gonna get this new bearing on. We're gonna get it pressed on. And that's gonna be the next part of this job, next part of this procedure. All right, here we go. We pretty much just shim it up. Pretty easy. We got some plates in our press and we just come up with it and we just press it until it goes down and bottoms out. And that's pretty much it. A little more. All right, so here we go. We got an intermediate shaft slid in and we have our circlip, our C-clip installed. Now I'm gonna get our CV axle and just slide it right over. I want to show that right now. And again, these are pretty simple. You can just kind of install these with your hand, maybe a slight tap with a hammer. But Alex is going to show us. Almost. Sometimes you have to just give it a little slight turn till you get the teeth on there. But what we're going to do is that, you on there?
Yeah.
Yep, we're on there. So now, if we come back up under the bottom, just see if I can show you. And you can see that we're slid all the way on the intermediate shaft right there. We are good to go. The rest of it is an install in reverse order. Outer tie rod in. Thrust arm in, bring this down, put the nut on. Uh-oh, excuse me, man, I knocked the tie rod out. And the same thing with this one here. Just drop them all down, drop them in, tighten them up, and then come around to your front hub, put your nut in, tighten that up, and this job will be over with. All right, thanks for watching. Again, pretty simple setup. Got our wheel back on, and we'll take this thing out for a test drive.